Cursed Hollow, one of the more standard maps in Heroes of the Storm. Just a very, this is the map you learn when you're first becoming a competitive team in Heroes of the Storm. It's just a very basic map, very balanced, and yeah, it's just a good map all around. It's my favorite map personally. But yeah, we're returning back to Cursed Hollow. We did have game one on this map, and now it's going to be game three between alternate and LDLC to determine who qualifies for Gosu Cup number two. And yeah, let's see. Let's get into this draft here. We did have a first ban from Team Alternate onto those Lost Vikings. And again, a target ban onto Zagara from Team LDLC, not wanting Alternate to get that Zagara that they have loved so very much in this tournament. But Alternate going for that first pick Jaina, it could mean we'll see another Stitches comp, but maybe there will be a little bit more diversity this time around.
Yeah, of course. We did see LDLC win on this map earlier. They had the Chen, which was probably the key to their success at that Grave Golem fight in the bottom lane. They're going to open things up with the Sylvanas, follow it up with the Malfurion, as Alternate look to see how they can reply.
Yeah, I mean, Illidan's still on the table. There is ETC as well. If I had to put my eggs in a basket, I would have to say Illidan ETC could be really, really strong here. I mean, they don't have to pick a healer just yet. Malfurion already getting picked up in that first round by LDLC on the second pick. So, yeah, I mean, they could go for a strong tank, but actually it's going to be Avala. And what will be the hero to round it out? Could we see Illidan here? I mean, they would have the three best assassins in the game.
Yeah. Once you exclude the Vikings, of course, which have been banned out. But no, they're going to go for the Brightwing, which again leaves them options for that double support if they want to go for it. But Brightwing can soak a lane, Cursed Hollow being one of the largest maps in rotation, means that Brightwing can safely soak a lane and gain that little bit of an XP advantage. And of course, if you put Brightwing solo in one of the top or bottom lanes, then you've got a 50% chance to stay in your lane and then TP up for a tribute.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be another Stitches comp coming out of Alternate. Obviously, this draft being very similar to Game 1, getting that Brightwing. And yeah, I'm really curious to see. I mean, it's looking like it's going to be that Stitches comp, but is LDLC going to draft similarly? We'll have to see what they go for on these next picks.
Yeah, they need to grab their warrior here, which again, Chen, it worked for them last time. It can definitely work again here. They also need some more damage, which could be an Illidan. Illidan and Chen both going deep onto your enemy team is pretty disastrous for them, especially if the backline is Jaina, Valor, and Brightwing, who don't have the best escapes in the world.
Yeah, no, you really don't. But yeah, I mean, Chen, it didn't work out for them. I mean, it did
Yeah,
in the end of
in the
things,
end.
but up until that point where Alternate
Yeah.
kind of threw the game away, it was going very, very poorly there for LDLC. So I feel that, I mean, if Alternate plays the same game, but to steal onto Ronda, I feel that if Alternate wanted to go for that Stitches composition, they could have simply just picked Tyrande. Brightwing, they did not have to get that early. They could have played another support in this kind of composition. For example, Uther, something like this. But yeah, it's going to be Tyrande being stolen away here, which is so core to the Stitches composition.
Yep, and they also have the hammer in there as well, which we saw Alastair play last time. His early game wasn't the greatest. His early game skirmishes were where he got caught out, but later on, when the team fights came and he was able to set up, get his focus down properly, and one of the problems which really stopped him getting those doing well in those early fights was A, the Stitches, and B, the Tyrande. With 50% of those taken away for their own team of the Tyrande, it now makes it a lot easier for him. And of course, with a Hunter's Mark coming out with all that hammer splash damage, that can burst anyone down very quickly.
Yeah, it's actually insane how much burst damage Sergeant Hammer can do when you have a Tyrande on the side of your team. I mean, you can go for that Giant Killer Executioner Nexus Frenzy build that is so very dangerous when combined with the Hunter's Mark and Starfall to provide Executioner procs. So yeah, Hammer is going to be hitting like a truck in this game with that Tyrande. helping her out. But what does alternate do here? Do they give up the Stitches comp? Possibly just go into Illidan here and get a warrior as well? They could go for ETC Illidan here and still have a pretty fearsome lineup.
Yeah, they really could. They could go for a number of things here, in all fairness. They've got quite a lot of versatility. They could go for a tank and then a second support here to maybe keep the backline alive with this hammer damage that's coming out. An Uther as well, potentially, to try and lock that hammer down.
Yeah,
Diablo?
you could even do something crazy. Well, yeah, you could go for Diablo. You could even do something crazy like going for a tankless comp with like Illidan and Tassadar or something like that. But it's gonna be a Zeratul pick here coming out from alternate, and I wonder what will it be to go with that. Will they go for the Stitches? Maybe try to go for a pick style. But man, I just don't know. Possibly the Diablo for the Wombo combo. Could see that. I mean, we do have Jaina and Vala available in this game for them. They could go for the Reign of Vengeance with Blizzard Wombo combo with all the bursts from Jaina there. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. They have to lock in relatively soon here, though.
Yeah, they've got about 5 seconds left now in total. And there it is. They're going to go for that Stitches.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit dangerous, I feel, to put your eggs in the basket with Stitches without having that Tyrande. But, I mean, there is some really nice zoning potential on the side of alternate. They do have that Emerald Wind if they want to go for it to separate the enemy team from kind of following up, preventing a hook from happening. And they also have the option of the Void Prison as well to kind of do the same exact thing. We did see a lot of Stitches Zeratul in the past in the history of Heroes of the Storm, but again, it's going to be Chen coming out from LDLC. But one thing to note here, getting that Tyrande away from alternate has kind of sacrificed their ability to go for that double healer. So there's going to be no cleanse available this time for countering those Stitches hooks.
Yeah, and the Stitches Tyrande is what essentially kept alternate in it in that first game up until they, of course, threw. Now, that worked in the early game in their lane phase. They were getting those hooks. It worked for the first tribute, if I recall correctly. It's what won them that first tribute. It's what won them their first team fight down at that bottom tribute. But now with that Tyrande being taken away, Stitches doesn't really have too much to combine with apart from just pure burst damage coming out of Jaina.
Yeah, I mean, they lack a little bit of lockdown here, but I mean, once heroic abilities come into the game, I feel that a pick can be really, really dangerous for LDLC. They have the option of the Reign of Vengeance. They have a lot of zoning potential with the different heroic abilities coming out here. So I think early on it's going to be a little bit tough for alternate, but honestly, later on it could get better. But then again, you still have the scaling aspect of Sergeant Hammer. Sergeant Hammer is going to get more and more devastating as she gets into the late game, especially with that combination with the Tyrande, adding so much damage potential to Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah, definitely so. And also the fact that there is always that chance with when going up against a Chen for him to just absolutely obliterate you at a Grave Golem. We saw it in the last time on Cursed Hollow. He was able to jump in there, even just during normal team fights on Cursed Hollow, because the jungle is so intricate. If Chen is able to split you away, just force the Jaina away, either A, into the team, or B, away from her support, then that's a dead damage source straight away, and she can't escape that.
You know, she certainly cannot. But yeah, we do have that Chen. Stitches is going to have to watch out. We did see in that game one, Stitches getting kind of bullied around by that Wandering Keg. Even though it didn't work out in every situation for them, that's something you have to be worried about when you're playing a tank with very low mobility and not too high of an HP pool anymore these days.
Yeah, certainly so. As we now have 6 out of 10 players ready, make that 7. And we are going to be good to go. 9, 8. We're taking steps backwards. But, I mean, this has been a great day of games we've had. Considering, I think, the first game was an 8-minute, but after that we've had really, really close games. We had Alternate versus ESC, Alternate versus Next, then Alternate versus
Well Met.
and now this best of 3 here, which has gone to all 3 games.
Yeah, we've been pretty much following a lot of alternate today, so definitely got to experience the full alternate experience. But is it going to be alternate or is it going to be LDLC qualifying into that Gosu Cup number 2? We will have to see, and so much money on the line, so many prizes going to be coming for that Gosu Cup number 2. I mean, I was really impressed with Gosu Cup number 1.
Yeah.
We had so many high-level games, so many good teams coming out from Europe, and we even did see one North American team participate in the form of Complexity.
Yeah, we certainly did. I believe Tempo may have tried to qualify as well at one point, I think, but just fell short. But we are now loading in to the Cursed Hollow for our third and final game of this qualifier. It's going to be LDLC versus Alternate. And guys in chat, let us know who you think is going to take it. Is it going to be the Spaniards of LDLC or the Polish side of Alternate?
Yeah, the alternate being Polish, but I believe they're now considered just an EU team because I do believe they don't have a full Polish roster anymore. So now
Yeah.
they're speaking English in their scrims and whatnot. So yeah, but let's introduce these teams.
Yeah, so on the left-hand side, yet again, third time in a row, we have Team Alternate, Gluehammer on the Stitches, Dark Phoenix on the Jaina, Nunde on the Zeratul, Krolu on the Brightwing, and Guccio on the Valor.
Yes, indeed. And on the right side of the map, spawning as the red team, we have LDLC, Haruka on Sylvanas, Alistor on Sergeant Hammer, Vipolino on Chen, Palador on the the Malfurion, and then LOL versus XD on that Tyrande.
Yep, so how are these lanes going to set up? Last time we saw the Hammer in the top lane supported by the team, just try and get a good push going, but this time Elasta's going to be roaming up there with Malfurion and LOL versus XD, so again, double support up there, making sure Hammer can get the job done. We're going to have Sylvanas solo in this bot lane, and Chen might have a bit of a tricky task if Gluehammer was joined by members, but right now, 1 versus 1, it's hard for Chen to lose a lane.
Yeah, Chen's just very, very good at winning lane against a huge number of heroes. But yeah, we do have that scary kind of push lane here coming out with the Sergeant Hammer. Actually putting Sylvanas in the mid lane is LDLC, not deciding to put the Hammer and Sylvanas together, which can be really, really scary. But Sylvanas being a good solo laner herself and going to go up against Vala in that mid lane.
I think the reasoning behind the Sylvanas solo is that Sylvanas has an escape to get away from Zeratul ganks, whereas Malfurion and Tyrande certainly don't. So it means that Hiruka's a lot safer in this mid lane should they get the attention like we're seeing here of Nunde and Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, and there's some decent, I mean, not huge kill potential in the top lane for LDLC. They do have the Hunter's Mark and Entangling Roots combination, but sometimes it could be hard to set that up unless you get a nice little landing on the skill shot there. But yeah, again, not too much happening in the bottom lane, just the Stitches Chen matchup. And yeah, it's just Zeratul and Jaina here from Team Alternate trying to just move around the map, maybe try to get a gank here, but no. LDLC is pretty well protected with the mines, with Malfurion kind of just roaming around here, making sure that nothing happens.
Yep, as Hiruka's actually got quite a bit of damage there onto Guccio, and he's going to get out of that one as well. Nunde and Dark Phoenix back down here as Brightwing has a good amount of wave clear to maybe counter push the Alasta here, but not enough, of course, to nullify it completely. Something I'd like to see Krolu do maybe is once Alasta's sieged up, try and get a polymorph on him because it takes him out of that siege mode. If you can do that early doors, then you can really nullify quite a bit of the damage going down onto towers.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about the talents here in this game. We do have Guccio on the auto attack build in this game, so I guess they feel when they go for the Stitches pick comp, they really, really like that extra auto attack damage coming out to maybe just get a little bit extra burst on the single target.
Yep, as Nunde going on to Hiruka here. Hiruka uses the Haunting Wave, jukes Nunde out a little bit. The Envenom coming in as well means that he has to go and tap the fountain for now. But Guccio's trying to get a channel off here. They need to interrupt him, and there it is. Nunde, though, still sticking around for now in the back lines. Love SXD trying to get a channel off there. Does get interrupted by Dark Phoenix. Now Krolu coming in to do the exact same. Hiruka's turn to get a channel off. Nunde's going to block that for now. But I believe that was the puncturing arrow that stopped it that time round as Guccio's turn to get a channel down.
Yeah, and I mean, not having stitches here really, really, I think, kind of helps LDLC, but actually just so much damage, though, for alternate here. And Jaina trying to do her best to zone, but honestly, Guccio just not able to gather, getting pushed off there by
Yeah,
LDLC.
and now Haruka's coming in behind. That's an easy kill onto the Jaina. They're going to try and get onto Nunde as well, who actually blinks away. The Haunting Wave's going to go up to him, though. The Haruka should have this one more. There it is. As that's going to be the tribute as well for LDLC, and they're going to be the first team to hit level 7 here as well after getting those 2 kills.
Yeah, and Chen doing quite a bit of work taking out one of the bottom towers. But, yeah, I mean, just tons of damage in the bottom here from that Chen versus Stitches matchup.
Yep, and it's really hard for Stitches to do anything because the only interruption he has of that brew drinking is his hook, and you don't want to be wasting that.
Yeah, I feel like the lane optimization, like they could optimize their lanes more, alternate to help deal with that Chen, and also to put Stitches in the top lane to kind of, Stitches could have been really helpful in that tribute fight. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the best lane matchups for them.
And also, it's always good to have a Stitches just providing a threat to maybe stop Hammer sieging up as often as she may like, because then she is just an easy target for a Stitches hook to get under a tower.
Yeah, exactly. Stitches being one of the biggest threats against a hero like Sergeant Hammer that is so very immobile. But we do have the second tribute. Yeah.
Vippolino's coming in here, being very patient, gonna jump on here now. He can easily take this 1 versus 2 trade. Krolu's gonna try and come down there. Hiruka's here. We're gonna have a 4 versus 2 for now. Vippolino's in fact gonna fall down. Hiruka jumping away, and a little bit too aggressive there. Alternate though, that really paid off for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a really good play, but he forgot about that Brightwing, who instantly poured it in and polymorphed the drinking from Chen. So even though that was a really nice little move there, it was counteracted by that Brightwing coming in.
Yeah, and now they're going to send Haruka to deal with these Siege Giants. Of course, Sylvana's probably the best at doing so, because she can, of course, just freeze them, meaning they don't fire anything. And the fact that they were only going to the gate, not the towers themselves, is great for LDLC. Tribute, though, it did get picked up by Alternate as Vippolino's returned to his place in this bottom lane. Alastor and Lolver 60, though, still getting a good push up in top.
Level 7 talents are looking pretty standard. I mean, we do have Gust of Healing on the side of Brightwing. We have, again, the auto attack build coming out of all, so searing attacks. And yeah, just looking pretty standard overall. Increased range for the Tyrande. And we do have Alternate going for their Bruiser camp. And the third tribute of the game should be coming up relatively soon here. Yes, it's going to be in the top. Kind of a little bit more favored on the side of Alternate there.
Yeah, but LDLC have the more members already up here now. Valor and Jane are moving up, and that does get scouted out by Lolver 60. Heroics are here as well. Pretty standard across the board, I believe, as we're going to see our first real fight of this game, hopefully, with the Heroics. Krolu's just going to base, but of course can phase shift in. Nunde almost gets caught out there. Lolver 60 takes a lot of damage. Vippolino going into the back line here. Could use Wandering Keg if he wants. Gets polymorphed so he can't drink anything. Putrid Vials doing work. Vippolino now gets healed up. But we've got Zeratul falling already. He was already low in that fight. Alistair 1v1ing Dark Phonics there and comes out on top once his team join. And somehow Vippolino was able to survive here. Gluehammer is the next target. He's going to go down here in the back line. That was a 3-0 in favour of LDLC. They're going to pick up the tribute as well and now go towards their Grave Golem.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Zeratul was doing in that engagement. He did get picked off without using his Void Prison at all. So, yeah, I really would have liked to see maybe a Void Prison to zone out LDLC after the hook went down. But, yeah, it was just a really nice fight there for LDLC. And now they're going to try to take their Grave Golem off of this.
Yeah, and they're going to do that with ease, of course. Nunde is here. He does still have the Void Prism available. They do know he's here, though. And that's going to easily get taken by Paleta. They could have maybe chased onto Nunde a little bit there with a flying kick from Vippolino, but there was no real need to do so, just play it safe. And now they're going to maybe rotate towards this mid lane. They could even go for the aggro play towards the enemy's Grave Golem once their Heroics are up in about 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, and the timing of this might be a little bit tricky for Alternate. They do have to defend this Grave Golem in the top here, and we do have LDLC trying to make a little bit of a move towards the Grave Golem here of LDLC. Team Alternate sniffing that out and immediately heading down here, collapsing on this position, not wanting LDLC to get their grave, but we're going to have the tribute spawning relatively soon here.
Yeah, we should do. LDLC's Grave Golem in the top lane, however, did get the fort. And here it is, the tribute. LDLC, they grab this, the enemy team's cursed. They lose this, then it's not the worst idea, but they don't want to lose a fight. LoveSXD taking a lot of damage already. Nunde's going to VP in here as well. Vipolino's barrel, though, going to force Guccio away from the team. Rain Avengers coming in, hitting Hiruka and Paleta. Paleta using that tranquility to heal all of his team up. And look at this, Krolu's going to be the first to fall here. Gluehammer next on the list, he goes down, as now they could go on to Nunde as well. Vipolino's in range for a flying kick. Cone of Cold slowing him by just enough. Looks like Malfurion is going to grab the tribute, while the rest of the team maybe grab this Grave Golem and apply a lot of pressure down bottom.
Yeah, unfortunately, another bad fight coming out for Alternate. LDLC just going to get the curse here, and another Grave Golem, putting them at a very nice position, but a little bit of counter aggression here coming out from Alternate.
Yeah, they're trying to do what they can here. Krolu, of course, has phase shift in. Jaina falls, however, as does Krolu, after just coming in here. Nunde lucky enough to blink away from that one. Hiruke taking a lot of damage here and actually goes down. They're going to have to back away from this one. They are 3 versus 3. They really don't want to give this one up, but Gluehammer doing so much on this front line. They're actually going to stun up Nunde. They get the kill onto him, but they're not able to get the Grave Golem. Guccio's going to go down as well. Gluehammer now going to chase LoL versus XD away from here. Paleta's going to come in and try and heal him up. Does so. And LoL versus XD greedy with his own heal there. Could have healed Paleta, but it's going to be enough to keep them surviving. They're actually going to turn their attention onto Gluehammer himself, and they should get this kill as well. Especially with Hunter's Mark. Krolu porting in. They're not able to get it. The protective shield coming in as well. Very back and forth. LoL versus XD is going to be the last kill of this fight. Or is Dark Phoenix going to go onto Alastair here as well? He's going to try and base. Dark Phoenix, that's the wrong brush. He's going to knock him away. Taking a bit of a duel here. Alastair's going to fall. Oh, yep, he is, and now Dark Phoenix is also going to fall. Really back and forth.
A huge bloodbath on both sides there. I mean, it was looking really, really good for LDLC, but then the Grave Golem was picked up by Alternate. But I felt after that situation happened that Team Alternate was still in pretty unfavorable terms there. But after the greediness came out from LDLC, Alternate was able to catch up from almost a 2-level deficit. So, yeah, a lot of those kills being really worthwhile there for Alternate because they were down levels, so they gain more experience per kill. So, yeah, it could have been a lot worse for Alternate, I feel, but I mean, the game is going to start to even out a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly is, as Paleta in this mid lane is going to have some aggression come his way. Gluehammer getting ready to set up a hook here, but this could in fact get sniffed out. Hiruka is going to spot them and back away immediately, I think. I think he spotted them out.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a hook here coming out. When will it be thrown? Being very patient is Gluehammer, and the hook onto Malfurion. Very nice there by Gluehammer.
That's the signs of a good Stitches player. Not the fact that he can hit hooks, but the fact he's patient enough to wait so long.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you just have to wait for the perfect hook, and wait he did. But yeah, I mean, this is how I feel Alternate has to play their composition in a straight-up team fight. They are at a huge disadvantage, I would say. I mean, a lot of the fights have been going in the favor of LDLC in this game, but when you can just make small little moves like that, then that is really the strength of a Stitches comp, abusing that long-range hook ability.
Yeah, certainly. So as now Brightwing just gonna get rid of this push down in the bot lane. We're at that bit of the play now where there's no tribute spawning, curse is finished, and the only real thing on the map is this Siege Giant, which is gonna get taken out here now as well.
And I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of the Jaina level 16 pick to get that Cone of Cold damage increase from Northern Exposure. I mean, if you get a hook on with the Stitches, you can lock down a hero with the Chilling Root, the other level 16 talent. I actually don't know the name, but it's a root ability on chilled targets, and that would prevent even using escape abilities from getting out of a hook. So I feel that has to be a huge misstep there by the Jaina player of Alternate, but we do have both teams now on that level 16 talent tier. So, and the focal point of this fight is looking to be the Grave Golem of Team LDLC.
I guess you could argue, oh, the Vipolino's going to get hooked. I'll continue my point afterwards, and that's not who you want to hook. They are forcing him to use the barrel, however, and they're going to set up on this VP of Hiruko and Paleta. They're going to get a two-man Rain of Vengeance. Sylvanas the first of all, Paleta popping the Tranquility to survive as the Water Elemental doing what it can. Glue Hammer getting healed up a lot there, but Crowley might lose his life. In fact, it's going to be Sergeant Hammer the next to fall. Vipolino going to have to jump away from this one, and Volves XD get a mount up and escape. I was going to say with the Jaina there is that most of these fights we've seen LDLC escape on very little HP. So I guess the vulnerability from the Cone of Cold would give that extra bit of damage that they may need.
Yeah, I definitely can see your point, but I mean, I just feel that the root is so very, very strong just because it denies any kind of escape ability or anything like that, and just locking down a hero, not allowing them to get away. But yeah, the Northern Exposure can be quite potent, can add a lot of extra damage. But yeah, I mean, things are starting to look up for Team Alternate here. I mean, they were taking some bad fights in the mid game, but now going a bit later on here, it's going to be more in their favor with that great hook and Void Prison. They were able to actually wombo off of that quite a bit. And, I mean, they didn't go too crazy. They started backing up. Gluehammer got in a bunch of trouble there, and they followed up and helped him out and ended up turning the fight really in their favor there.
Yep, as we're going to see the Grave Golem of Alternate go down here. It does get scouted out by the Owl of Tarande. They won't be here in time, however, I don't think. Vipolino might be. He could jump in here. And Wandering Keg, he's not in time. He is going to use his Keg, though, knocking Guccio into the enemy team. But that just means a Rain of Vengeance easy onto Alasta. Guccio is going to go down. However, it's a 1-for-1 after Paleta fell. There is now no healer on the side of LDLC, and Tarande falling means there's definitely no healer as well. 2-for-1 trade. The Grave Golem pushing down in this bot lane. They might send Krolu up to try and get this tribute for themselves and then push with this one, but it seems no, they're just going to push as a four-man unit.
Yeah, 1 second later, and that could have been really, really bad for Alternate. Such incredible timing there to capture that Grave Golem. We did have the Chen kick in, but just, second too late. And that's going to be a Grave Golem pushing into the bottom lane here. And level 20 soon after this keep falls. Wow, a massive push here by Alternate. A huge swing and turn of events.
Massive power spike about to come in for Alternate once they hit that level 20. And they're so close to it now. Vipolino looking like he wants to maybe engage off the back of this, but instead just going to clear these Siege Giants off. Pings are going down onto that Tribute, and you've got to think that's a very easy pick there for Alternate. Go 2-1 up in Tribute, and then probably fall back, maybe take their own Siege Giant, take their own Bruiser Camp. They could even invade up onto the Bruiser Camp here, and it looks like that's exactly what Nunde might do, just scouting ahead to start things off.
Yeah, something to keep in mind here is Alternate now being on level 20, so it's impossible for Team LDLC to take a fight being down 2 levels and the level 20 talent tier. It's just, there's just really no way they can do anything, and it's going to be free reign on the map here for Team Alternate. They're going to pick up their bruisers, and they're going to just pick up any objective that they want. LDLC, they have their bruiser camp up, and they're kind of just soaking experience. They need to get level 20, but they're in bad shape. They don't have a keep in the bottom lane, so constant pressure going to be coming out from Alternate in that bottom lane, and now we do have Alternate moving to the bruiser camp of LDLC, going to be able to take it uncontested.
Yeah, this is just going to put so much pressure elsewhere on the map, and in fact they're going to be very patient here. In fact, Nunde again just scouting, getting sights onto Paleta. They do ping onto Nunde, however, so they're going to grab this hard camp and then just back out. They could now push either one of the 2 lanes. They do have those Siege Giants in the top, hard camp in the mid, and it looks like they're going to push with the Siege Giants. It's certainly the safer option, and they can just get this keep as well. Nunde going in, doing some damage. It's already so low. And it's just so exposed as well. That's 2 keeps down in both bot and top lane. Those are probably the worst combination of 2 keeps that you'd want to go down.
Yeah, definitely not being a good thing here for LDLC, and still, Polator getting caught out, and just, man, it's getting really, really grim here now for LDLC, and Team Alternate being so patient, not wanting to throw this important win away. Now just poking at this wall, going full onto this keep wall in the front here, knowing a 5v4 situation, being on that level 20 talent here, being up so many levels, and it's going to be another keep going down here for LDLC. What can they possibly do?
They either have to survive 25 seconds and then take a fight, or force a fight now and win it in spectacular fashion. It looks like they're not even going to be given the opportunity to, as they're just going to back out. Tribute is going to get taken here by Alternate, and that just makes their task a lot easier as well. They can just push for the win then.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the checkmate, and even putting insult to injury, not capturing it. Every single lane on the map is pushed in here for Alternate, but delaying that tribute and that curse just a little bit longer. And Alternate just camping out at the Grave Golem here of LDLC, just waiting here and kind of baiting LDLC, saying, "Come at me, bro, let's fight." But it's going to be, this is a victory condition here for Team Alternate. This Golem will end the game. LDLC has no option but to go for an all-in team fight.
Yeah, they have to do it. Vipolino's just going to go straight past Gluehammer, or at least try to. He won't be able to, however. They need to win this here and now. Tarande is not here, and the hook just missing on Haruka there, but that doesn't matter. Alternate can, of course, now just push through and take this game, unless there's a 5v5 fight right here, right now, that goes in the favour of LDLC. They've just hit level 20, so it's certainly a possibility. They go on to Nunde here. They get the stun onto him, but he's able to blink out of that one. The VP is down. Gluehammer on the front line there, trading with Alasta. Crowley jumping forward, actually gets knocked away by the barrel. Rain of Vengeance not going to hit anything, I don't think. Vipolino is now pretty exposed here. The Golem onto the core. Paleta, the first to fall in this fight. Gluehammer and Crowley also very low. They're going to try and get hit. Nunde low. Lova 60 gets locked up. Just Vipolino left now. GG's are coming out. Core is on 30%, now 10, now 0. And that was a great best of 3 final. Alternate qualifying for the Gosu Cup number 2.
Yeah, well done by Alternate there. It was a little bit of shakiness in the early mid-game for them. They weren't taking such good of team fights, but then Gluehammer and Alternate were starting to abuse those hooks, getting some nice picks there, and then just taking some really good objectives, able to get that Grave Golem just in the nick of time that could have spelled doom for them, but just really nice play by Alternate throughout this whole tournament. And even, throughout this series, they weren't able to have their comfort hero of Zagara, and still playing so many different styles of compositions. They had an Illidan comp, they had
Stitches.
Oh, sorry, they had the triple ranged comp. Well, and on the Haunted Minds game this series, I don't believe they even had it. Well, did they have Illidan? I don't even remember. But I mean, just really, really versatile playstyles coming out there from Alternate. Gonna take the series 2-1.
Yeah, and they deserved it. They've played well all afternoon, it has to be said, and